Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, August 24th. We have a lot to talk about. Of course, the main focus of attention is still on Hurricane Irene. Irene has just become a major hurricane. It has just reached Category 3 status. Sustained winds of 115 miles per hour with gusts up to 130. It is slowly strengthening as it moves through the Bahamas. In addition to the hurricane, we have a strong cold frontal passage expected late tomorrow that could bring severe thunderstorms to the mid-Atlantic region and dump a quick half-inch to an inch of rain on already saturated grounds ahead of the potential heavy rainfall from Irene over the weekend. Let's take a look at the latest GOES visible satellite image from the Penn State eWall website, which is accessible on our own website. Here is the latest satellite image, and again, Irene is strengthening. There's some semblance of an eye developing right in this region right here, and that's indicative of the strengthening process that's going on. It is also expanding in coverage. It's quite a healthy looking storm. Yesterday there was a little bit of a weakening process that went on as some dry air moved over the land of the Dominican Republic and fed into the lower circulation region of the hurricane, and it actually weakened slightly from a Category 2 down to a 1, but now it is strengthening again as it bypasses that island and heads through the Bahamas. And again, it has reached Category 3 status, which is considered to be a major hurricane. It should maintain that status or perhaps even reach Category 4 status as it slowly moves through the Bahama chain of islands over the next 24 to 36 hours. Here's the latest colorized IR image loop of Hurricane Irene, and again you can see a kind of an eye developing even here on the IR right here, and that is indicative of the strengthening process that's going on. That eye should become better defined over the next 12 to 24 hours as the strengthening process continues. It should continue in this west-northwest direction over the Bahamas and bypass for the most part Florida, well to the east of Florida, on its way up to eastern North Carolina. Speaking of that projected track, let's take a look at the latest National Hurricane Center track. And here is the latest National Hurricane Center official projection for the track of Irene, and a general agreement that I have with this in that it looks like it appears to be headed towards eastern North Carolina by about Saturday morning or so, and then near the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay and just off the coast, right near or just off the coast of New Jersey. Now this particular track, of course, poses some serious problems for the coastal sections where hurricane force winds, I would expect, will be recorded all the way up and down the east coast from North Carolina all the way up to Maine from this hurricane over the weekend. Especially along coastal sections, hurricane force winds are expected. And because of the saturated grounds, the heavy rainfall expected from Irene should cause some potential flooding problems in many parts of the Mid-Atlantic region, right along the coast, especially if you're involved in emergency management anywhere from the eastern shore across eastern Pennsylvania to New Jersey, eastern part of New York, and eastern part of New England. Expect the possibility of some flooding as well as some power outages with these strong winds, especially close to the coast, as again hurricane force winds can be expected up and down the east coast. Now I want to point out a couple of other prior hurricane tracks just to point out a couple of things here. This happens to be the track of a hurricane that's known as the Great Hurricane of 1944. It's again similar in that it stayed just about off the coast, it ran over the Outer Banks and then just off the east coast. This is very similar to what could happen with Irene, and this is very similar to what happened to Floyd. We'll take a look at that now. We showed this yesterday. This is the track of Floyd, again near the Outer Banks and then just along the coast or just to the east of the coast. Now the thing I want to point out about these two particular hurricanes, the Great Hurricane of 1944, that was before they had names, and Hurricane Floyd, which occurred in September of 1999, both had substantial rainfall inland, at least to the I-95 corridor and even just to the west of the I-95 corridor. So just because the track is off the coast or along the coast does not mean that places like Philadelphia will not get heavy rain. There is potential for heavy rain right along the coast and inland a ways, especially considering the fact that this storm will be a strong hurricane and a wide hurricane. It's growing in intensity as well as in coverage, and therefore there can be some heavy rain even on the west side of the track of this hurricane. So stay tuned over the next couple of days. We'll continue to update this as we approach the weekend. Now, one last thing I want to point out, this is a computer forecast model from the NAM, the North American Mesoscale model, for tomorrow evening. Just want to point this out because I don't want to minimize the potential for a severe thunderstorm late in the day tomorrow and tomorrow night, anywhere from Washington up through Philadelphia and then to New York City. As a strong cold front comes through later in the day tomorrow, it will not only spark the potential for severe thunderstorms, but could dump a fair amount of rain in a short time, exacerbating our potential flooding situation for this weekend. We could get another ½ inch to an inch of rain out of this strong cold frontal passage late tomorrow and already saturated grounds. Of course, Philadelphia is on the doorstep of breaking the all-time rainfall record for a month, and this cold front will probably put us over the top. New York City has recorded nearly a foot of rain in Central Park, and this will not help the situation, especially in light of the fact that there very likely will be heavy rainfall over the weekend from Hurricane Irene. That's it for now. I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.